Hey everyone, welcome back. It is time for another monthly update for you. This is the June update. I'm actually recording this on June the 23rd of 2019. I'm going to obviously go into some updates about how the brain injury is going for me. I'm also going to do what I call some brain injury talk. Basically, some things that I came across early on when this happened and what my experience has been with those things. So I'll go into some more detail about that. That will be the focus of this month's video. And then obviously, I will share one thing that I learned for this month as well. As far as June goes, next week is my last week of pre-approved therapy. So there is a certain number of visits that my insurance company allows me to have in therapy. Once I hit that, then it's based on medical necessities. So the insurance company will request my medical records. They'll then review those to see if I'm improving, and then they'll make the call on if I'm approved to continue going to therapy or not. Went through this process last year, and it was denied, but under appeal basically through the end of the year. So hopefully we have better result this year. I think from a measurable standpoint, things look better as far as improvement goes this year versus what they would have been looking at last year. So hopefully we get good news on that. Now, the measurable things are range of motion. They have a little device that measures how high you can get your arm, how far out the side you can get it, how fast you can get up, walk 10 feet, walk back, sit down, how long you can stand on one leg, how long you can stand on the other leg, what your grip strength is, what your pen strength is. Fine motor skills, what they have is I think it's called a 9-hole peg test. It's a little box that has 9 slots in it. You have to put 9 pegs in there and then take them out with your right hand. Then you have to do it with your left hand. They time that. They do that each month so they can basically show the insurance company, hopefully, that those things are improving, which for the most part, my numbers have all significantly improved from where I started at and where things were the prior month. So hopefully we get some good news back on that front. Also, this was in May, but it was after I made the May video. I did have a doctor's appointment, but it was just with my general practitioner to fill out some disability paperwork for work. She was very happy with the progress that I made and said I was undoubtedly doing better than the last time she saw me. So that was very good news, encouraging for me to get that expert perspective on how things were going. Also, at my insurance, or I'm sorry, not insurance, at my therapy place, they got a new piece of equipment. It's called a light gate. It essentially is a harness and a device so you can do things standing up. And if you lose your balance, then the harness is there to catch you so you can try more things standing up than you would otherwise do because the risk of falling is taken out of it. So they had, I don't know if he worked for the company or what, I assume he did. But they had an expert come in. He was demoing this thing for the people who worked there. I was one of the guinea pigs who got to come in and use this thing when everyone was learning how to use it. And the guy told me something that was also very encouraging, which was if you can just do something one time correctly, then there's not any, nerve damage or anything structurally keeping you from being able to do that. Now, it will take a great deal of work to do those things all the time, but if you can do it once, then you have the ability to do it all the time. So that was very encouraging for me. He told me he liked a lot of the things that I could do now. Just obviously we need to tweak and work on those things to get me back to where I want to be. So I will dive into a little more details about some of those brain injury type of things, but let me quickly get the walking update to you. So we'll start there. So that is how the walking going. I realize I neglected to talk about this sweet new walker that I have. You may notice that's different from what I had in prior videos. Um, I don't know if it's a funny story or a sad story or a stupid story or what exactly it is, but I broke the walker I had previously. There was a bug that was crawling on the wall. I thought I was going to get this bug. I went and got a paper towel. I was going to either catch the bug and throw him outside or kill the bug or do whatever. But I didn't realize at the time that it was a flying bug, so I went and got a paper towel and pushed the walker out of the way and got in position to get this bug. And about the time I was going to make my move, he flew towards me and struck me, and I jumped back, and obviously my balance being what it is, I lost my balance, fell, knocked the walker over, broke the walker, had to get a new one. Luckily, we went and got this nice one. My friend Meg and her mom actually went and got that, so I'm grateful to them because I was kind of stuck with a broke walker. Um, so that was a whatever you want to call it story of why I have a new walker, but hopefully we don't have this one forever. But it is very nice, so I'm appreciative to them for getting this for me, so I can get around. But that aside, my mother will probably appreciate this video because when this injury first occurred, I spent pretty much all my time on the internet doing research on brain injuries and what I could expect. I no longer do that because a lot of those things have already been proven to be incorrect, at least for my situation. Now, every brain injury is different. The brain obviously is the most complex organ that we have, and no one understands it. So, I'm not saying my experience is like any other experience that's out there, but I'm going to talk a little bit about some of the things that I've experienced being about a year and a half or so in this process. Um, So one of them has to do with the amount of time that you can recover. I found websites that said basically you have 6 months to recover. That's when the majority of your recovery takes place. You can slowly recover up to 2 years, but then anything that has not come back basically want you're permanently going to have these disabilities that you're going through. Now I've thought a lot about that. There are some articles that are out there where people disagree with that line of thinking. My neurologist and one of my therapists have told me that the new school of thought is that there's no end time frame, you can continuously improve. And in the conversations that I've had with people, that's what makes the most sense. If you think about a brain injury and basically part of your brain is dead or you lose all those functions, the other parts of your brain, you can reform those connections. It's just like when you are forming connections, learning a new language or playing an instrument, or there's no set time frame on doing those things. Granted, it's easier when you're a kid because those formations are easier to do when you're younger and your brain's not developed, but there's no time frame on you being able to make those connections for other things. So I don't see why, if there's no time frame for you to build a connection for playing an instrument, why there would be a time frame for you to recover functionality loss because of a brain injury. I haven't got to 2 year mark yet, but I don't foresee that being an issue just for some unknown reason that recovery just magically stops. That doesn't make a bit of sense to me. One of the other things that I read was that you basically couldn't stay up very late anymore. So I was very worried that I was going to have to go to sleep early and I'd never be able to stay up late. And, I've been up till 3 in the morning since this happened. Things of that nature. Now, it is harder to move around to, function walking from A to B or doing those things, but you don't melt and you don't lose all your functionality when you stay up late. You can do those things. So that was a very good thing for me to do, to know that that's still something that may be part of my life. Staying up late, doing the things I want to do. So definitely it's harder to get around at that time. Same way it's hard to, when you wake up in the middle of the night and you gotta go to the restroom or something like that, it's harder to function, to move at those times than normally is when you're fully awake. But I don't know if that's reflective of the brain injury or just being tired causing that to happen. So that was my experience with that. Another one of the things that had me worried was this whole talk that when you have a brain injury, the old you is gone and you're a new person, you're a different person. Well, that's not my experience. I do want to do better, to be a better person, because I have a renewed and a different perspective on things than I previously did, but I could be the exact same person that I was if I want to be. So the injury itself didn't fundamentally change me as a person. I've hung out with multiple friends who've said, it's just like hanging out with me before this happened. So I'm not a fundamentally different person. Whereas all the research I did basically said that that was the case, that the old you was gone, that you're going to be a new person, and blah, 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 and that. Just not my experience. So a lot of the information that's out there may be true in some instances, but it's not true for everyone. So don't believe everything that you read. Don't, if you have something that's wrong with you, if you have a brain injury or some other medical condition or something like that, don't believe everything that you read. Your situation can be different, and luckily for me, my situation was a lot better than what I was preparing myself for and doing all that research that I did. So I don't even waste my time doing that anymore because so much of the information that's out there does not apply to me. So that's a little bit some of the bigger themes of things that I've seen that have been different from my personal experience. Um, so what I want to share for this month probably sounds like a very simple thing and one that you might say, Jared, duh, you didn't know that before, but I did not know the level of how deep it went. So the thing that I've learned through this experience is just how important your brain is. In an incident, I started having trouble with everything in my life where I was perfectly healthy before all of a sudden everything was impacted because of this injury that I had. Um, I was never the person as a kid that would wear a helmet riding a bike, and once I was driving, I drove recklessly and, did a bunch of stupid things that in hindsight I would not do because I know how important it is to protect this up here. Um, some things, just for instance, that all of a sudden I was having trouble with that made me realize how important this brain is. Washing your hair, doing that motion back and forth with two hands. I was having trouble with that because the connection for me to be able to move my hand, alternate alternate your hand movements, that connection was gone. So I had a lot of difficulty with that. Luckily, I think that's a connection that has been reformed since that happened. I don't have that trouble with that the way I previously did. Another big one is cutting food. Using a knife and fork. That connection was gone. So I was actually at a restaurant and I was trying to cut up what I had ordered, and I was like, I know how to do this, but I couldn't do it. I couldn't, you know, get the coordination to work, the two hands together to cut up what I need to cut up. So definitely every aspect of what you do, whether it's walking, my speech, all the things that I have difficulty with are related to this injury that I have, but also those little small simple things that were impact on that as well. So if I had to do it all over again, I would 100% protect myself from potential injuries, and I would encourage everyone to do the same because it's precious cargo up there. You want to protect that at all costs. And that's something that I've learned through this experience. So that is all I wanted to pass along for this month. thank you so much for listening to me, and I will see you back in another month. Thank you so much.